Guys, welcome back to another video. So today I'm in the council square where they had the fun fair just outside the local council. We have a demonstration today which is stopping the cuts to the local council. So for the people that's not in Nottingham, they might be aware of all the budget cuts been happening to the council, but also all the scandals that they have had. So in 2023, the council had a £140 million budget, which of course was a lot less than what they had in 2010, which is what these guys are wanting. They had a few different scandals within the city council, such as the Robin Hood energy scandal, which the local council created a energy company which was meant to compete against the big energy companies. And they lost approximately £38 million of the taxpayers' money on the use of creating the energy fund. Of course, they had a few other scandals, such as unlawfully reallocating money from the housing fund, which was £14 million, which they're having to pay back by the end of 2027. With inflation and everything, that brings up the amount to £51 million, which is a lot of money that taxpayers are going to have to find. So I'm going to be asking them a few questions on what they think and why they want to bring back the funds to the council, because as people are aware at the moment, the money is being used for a lot of different things, which you guys have your own views about if you think it's a valid use of money. But I know there's a lot of cuts that they're having done at the moment to the local community centres, taking down places where areas for kids to play and be able to be off the streets. So yeah, we'll see what they say and go from there. So they also have another protest demonstration going off about their climate action on food, which is right next to where these lot have got theirs. Let's go ask them, see what they think to the cuts, and give them a voice to talk about why they think the cuts should be brought back. As you can see, they're getting a few petitions at the moment to get people to sign to try getting the funding back to the amount that they had in 2010, because like the council went bankrupt last year and now they're having this. So we'll ask them a few questions and see what they say about it all, and we'll get their opinion on it all. Here with one of the guys today, he's just going to tell us a bit about what they're wanting to do and what they're wanting to voice. So what do you think about the cuts to the council? Do you think that they're appropriate, or do you think that they've gone a bit too far from what they are now to what they were in 2010?
Okay, well, I'm representing Nottingham Save Our Services campaign,
Yep.
and we're completely opposed to the cuts.
Yep.
The council has never fought previous Tory government and now this current Labour government for more money, or they haven't even asked this Labour government for more money. So since about 2013, they've lost, give or take, about on average £97 million a year from government funds.
Yeah.
So,
which is quite a lot of money.
It's almost £1 billion. So, without fighting for it, they've just gone down the road of trying to make cuts, put up charges, and have companies, for some obscure reason, like 8 Farms, a tarmac company, to try and somehow find the money rather than actually go and demand it with the trade unions and the local community.
Yeah.
So our view is we're opposed to the cuts, we're opposed to increased charges for working class people,
Yeah.
we're opposed to closure of libraries, of the adult residential care homes, the grants to the community, we're opposed to all that, and we fight for them to fight with the trade unions and the community for the money that's needed.
Do you think it's more to do with like inflation in the country from what it was back in 2010 to the amounts that they're giving, or do you think they are cutting the council's funding just to line their pockets more than putting it into things that are more important, like the councils?
Well, the Tories cut it, it wasn't just due to inflation, but that is a factor. The amount they changed the funds is cut by inflation. You're absolutely right there.
Yeah.
But it was actually a real cut in money. So from about £130 million a year revenue support grant, the main grant they get, it went down to 27.
This is a massive
That's
cut.
cut in real numbers, plus the inflation on top of that, as you mentioned.
And what do you think about the cuts on services like libraries and like community centres?
And that's what the council are doing, precisely because they're not fighting for the money back.
Yeah, and they're just taking the money out of places that they don't think is needed and just using that money to fund other things. To balance it.
One of the things is that when one of our campaign members asked the council at the last meeting, would the council leader ask the new government for more money, immediate funding to stop the cuts this year, she said no. They've got to live within their means, which means this Labour council is not going to ask the new Labour government for the money. Well, that's wrong, and our view is council should vote against any cuts budget, and if they're not prepared to vote against it, they should stand aside and let people who will fight cuts stand.
And would you say that this council should have a second chance after the bankruptcy and, of course, the money that has been lost for such things as Robin Hood Energy? Do you think that they should get the refunding to be able to have a second chance and put the money where it needs to be used instead of,
well, it's not about a second chance. It's about if the councillors aren't prepared to fight, they should stand aside and let people who will fight stand for council, because the council has unlawfully used housing revenue money, which cost the council about £10 million in interest charges,
which is a lot of money
they had to pay back. They obviously lost a lot of money on Robin Hood Energy. Now, I'm not saying it wasn't a good plan, but the idea of competing against the big 5 or 6 companies wasn't going to work, and it's fairly obvious that would be the case. And of course, it's the council taxpayers from Nottingham who've had to shell out, in effect, 38 million quid that the council lost. So this council, this Labour council leadership, I know it's a new leadership, but
how they already gone in the past.
They have failed the people of Nottingham. The only council who voted against the cut is the ex-mayor of Nottingham, and obviously last year's mayor, and we welcome that. But for all the other councillors, they have to look at themselves and say, am I going to vote against cuts in the next budget? Am I going to oppose the cuts this year, say I shouldn't have voted for them, or are they going to carry on doing what they've always done? And if that's all they're going to do, carry on, they should step aside.
And where do you think the council will be in like the next 5-10 years if they don't get the funding back to it? What do you think for like the community, like the centres and the libraries that are closing? Do you think that it's going to end with more people that's going to be on the streets, the youth, and higher crime and social behaviour?
Well, inevitably, if they continue down the road they're going, these social problems will arise. The council is also cutting the budget for people not in education, not in employment, not in training. That is scandalous, on top of all the other cuts.
So it's having an impact on multiple different services.
But
that's all the questions I've got for you. Thank you for that. And then this is what they are wanting to bring back to 2010.